All right, here we are. Welcome everyone to our second week of our Sacred Evolutionary Dowsing Consortium with our focus on the New York City School still and the Asheville, North Carolina Waldorf School. So lots is going on in both those schools, and I began to start to feel like why they were coming at the same time. There's certain qualities and things that are very interesting that they're showing up together. So, with that being said, we're going to open up with a heart resonance from Joanne. She's going to put her right on the spot because she's so already. She's been at the convention. She's all pumped up. And um, and we want to allow people to feel, oh, there he is.
There he is.
And
Hi,
the,
Marty.
the wizard. Jeez. You're on mute. Oh,
I was there. Thank you.
no, now we
I'll
can,
go,
now
I'm
we
gonna go
can't.
sit in my chair.
Your picture is gone.
Oh no. Let's see this.
On the other.
Your space holding is, we've lost Charlie somewhere in the ethers. Tyson's coming in late. Who else are we missing?
There we
Few, I think Judy Gabriel's coming in a little bit late.
I'm leaving early.
However it goes. This is, hey, listen, I just got told that my landlord just decided that she's going to put the house on the market. I'm just like, oh, okay. So, this is the times they are changing, and how do we be with that? And I think that's a really good inroad for the people that we're working with for the schools, because there's a lot of angst going on. So how do we be in the chaos but maintain resonance? So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Joanne to open the field for us today, and then we'll pop in.
Thanks, Shelley, and everyone. It's wonderful to be here. So if we can close our eyes and really pick up your shoulders to your ears and let them drop with an exhale so that anything that's coming in and around with you can just be melted away. And so I'd like to offer this heart resonance to this beautiful rainbow weaving of all our 12 around one souls, and the two amazing schools and all the people that are involved with the two schools. And so expanding up and out to greet the great central sun, source, creation, and that beautiful bounty of possibilities and blessings that are available to shower upon us all. And so connecting with source, creation, and breathing that beautiful energy down and around and in through our fields, our individual and collective fields, and feeling that shimmering shower of light coming in, bringing that down through the crown of our heads, slowly melting down into our heart space and feeling the expansion of gratitude for this experience in this moment today, and the expansion of love and a beautiful rose glowing light that is soft and welcoming and nurturing, and moving down our spine, connecting our tailbones deep into Earth Mother, feeling ourselves, our energy traveling through all the layers of Earth, the sand and the stones, and even the inner Earth waterways, rock, and to the very center core of Earth Mother's heart, where we find that we really are one and the same heart space. Gratitude for her blessings of sunshine, green grass, the seasons, moving into the summer season and some of us moving into the winter season, the blessings of the seasons and the changes as we too pass through the seasons and changes within ourselves, and so it is with the Earth Mother. And breathing that bounty and gratitude back up into our hearts, honoring this space, inviting in the elementals, the essences and the energies of the elementals, our guides and guardians, our ancestors, the ancestors of the land and the ancestors of the waters. Touching us, surrounding us, and blessing us. Calling upon the beautiful legions of light, the ascended masters, guides and guardians that have traveled with us for eons of time, that we know them and they know us, and they are here to guide and support us, and blessing the projects that we so lovingly add our hearts and energies to. And so with all this expanse of support and beauty and blessings, we bring that so beautifully into our field and our collective field, and feeling the container that surrounds us, a beautiful golden glowing light that is a container that holds us in that field of beauty and possibility. And it's at that point and portal that we step through into our weaving together. Aho, and it is done.
So I'd like to just take a moment and just invite us into just a minute of silence and just becoming aware of the energies that are moving. Thank you. Oops. Have your eyes closed. Judy's been waiting. Ah, right. Let Judy come on in. Hi there. Sorry, I don't know how long we had our eyes closed. Welcome, Judy. Wow, thank you. Just sometimes it's just really nice to just take that pause, that extended pause, and um, allow the energies to cohere. Feels really important. Um, so let's just, oops, who did we just lose? Oh, Judy, I guess she'll come back in. In fact, I'm going to take off the host, take off the enable. Okay, there she pop right in. Okay, so just as Marty's here, hopefully he's not sleeping in his chair, but he might be. Just want to invite us to just presence yourself so that we can feel the fullness of the circle and just acknowledging whatever feels right tonight, honoring um, the ancestors of your land, the water, and a mountain, if that feels right to you. And what in the tidal flow of energy, where are you? So are you in high tide, low tide? What does it feel like, since we were talking about the um, what tide do you feel like you're in? Your incoming tide, outcoming tide, just something was just moving around water. So I'll just start. And I'm Shelley Darling. I'm here in Katawamtiak, known as the Great Landing here in Rockland, Maine. And just grateful to be back close to Mother Ocean and the Weskag watershed, and honoring the ancestral, the unceded territory of the Abenaki and Wabanaki Nation. So yeah, and I'll pass someone to my right. I'll pass it over to Naj, and we'll just move. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, wait, I didn't say high tide, low tide, or what? Sorry. I didn't answer my own question. Oh, I feel like my tide is rising. It's been a little bit low and choppy from entering back home yesterday, and so I feel like the tide is rising, and I'm complete. Thank you.
Every evening, or even if you're wearing casual, your first stop is in the cold Colombian bed straightforward. To stop and smile, I don't know if that Okay. Morning, everyone. I'm finally home in my little cottage in the highest town in Queensland. I'm on the unceded lands of the Gerbil people, the Herbert River watershed, and my mountain is Mount Bartle Frere, and it's a little bit to my northeast of me here. And I say with the tide, I'm probably mid-tide. I'm just landing. I've been home for only a matter of hours. I've had a wee sleep and unpacked, but that's about it. So I'm still not quite anywhere yet. And that's me. Happy to be here. Lovely to see all your faces. I'll pass on to Marty on my right.
Thank you. I'm Marty Lucas. Yeah, I feel like I'm that surfer that's just on the backside of the wave of the tsunami. Uh, and Coming off of the Dowsers conference was just absolutely phenomenal. And it's taken me a few days to assimilate all the energy, and it's going to take a few days for me just to recover from the travel. But um, the level of energy and frequency and love was something that I have not experienced at a convention before. And I've been to a lot of these conventions, and I believe it had more to do with the energy of the earth and what we're going through right now um, than even the location or happenstance. So I'm in a phenomenal place, and I'm very, very happy to be here. I'm in central Iowa, so I can't say I've got an attachment to any particular mountain, but I'm only a half mile from the North Skunk River, so I guess I'm in the Skunk River watershed. So let's go with that. I'm complete. And it looks like to my right is Catherine.
All right. Thank you, Marty. And I'm Catherine Parker, and very happy to be here. So I am in Broomfield, Colorado, and last time I didn't even know what my watershed was, but I did find out. And it is the Colorado River Basin watershed with a lot of different rivers coming into it, the South Platte and a lot of other rivers. So I'm just right at the base of the Rocky Mountains, and I can see Long's Peak up to the west of me. And this was the land of the Arapaho and the Cheyenne and the Ute peoples in this area. And so I am just happy to be a part of this wonderful group this time. Yeah, much gratitude. And my ties, I don't know, my ties are kind of a little hard to say. Somewhere it feels kind of, I don't, I often feel these days that I really don't know if I'm coming or going. So I'm just trying to keep that balance. Yeah. Going with whatever the energies are doing. So I'm complete. And let's see. Maybe Jamie. Yes. Yeah.
You have to unmute yourself, Jamie. You can't?
Oh,
See if you can now.
Okay,
there you
sorry. It's just not the space where all those boxes are where you can do different things. I'm not able to swipe up to it. I don't know, swipe left, right, whatever. So I guess my tide is really wonky at the moment. I'm in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and yeah, I really appreciated the opening. It was really beautiful. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. And I'm a little, I wish I could have been at the Dowser conference. It is such a great gathering, and I'm looking forward to hearing some reports from those of you that were there. And I was there in spirit. And yeah, anyway, I'm just happy to be here, and I don't really have a whole lot to say right now. I'm just going to let it keep going. So whoever's to my right, and I will try to keep figuring out how to mute and unmute myself appropriately.
It's okay. Deborah, you're on my right of Jamie's right.
Thank you.
Deborah Harnett. I'm in California, just above the Golden Gate Bridge by 10 minutes to give you an idea. And I have a beautiful Mount Tamalpais that is part of the Miwok Indian area on the Corte Madera Creek watershed. And my life is just flowing. It's all good.
Beautiful.
And let's see, how about Judy?
Hello, everybody. I am in Redmond, Oregon. I'm looking at the Sisters Mountains, and I'm in the Deschutes watershed, Deschutes River. And the indigenous people here were the Wasco, Warm Springs, and Paiute, and then some Sammamish. It's been a little wonky. I've been proactive, moving finally here, having all my medical stuff changed, and I have been through the works with the doctors. I can see they would all sorts of my skin. I was in a bike accident. I've just been to shoulder therapy. I'm a little, a little beat up right now, but I'm going to take it nice and easy this week. But I'm very happy to be here, and really happy to be here with all of you. And I had a great visit with Charlie on a call today with my buddy. So I don't know if we're talking about that yet. So anyway, with that, I'm complete. I don't think Joanne's gone yet because Shelly's to my right. So Joanne, have you gone?
No.
Okay. I'm picking you. I'm passing this. Oops, where'd it go? This crystal heart.
Thank you. I am Joanne Vollmer, and I am here on Abenaki land, which is the White Mountains of New Hampshire, on the Pemigewasset watershed here. And there are beautiful mountains in this west side of the White Mountains in Franconia Notch. Some of my favorites are there, but I do love to mention ones that I can see right out my window. They're like little brother, little sister mountains, Mount Kineo and Peaked Hill. So I love them because they tell me when and what the weather is as it comes from the west. They're my watcher friends. So yes, I was at the Dowser conference and the tide was high and rolling, just beautiful, beautiful, mesmerizing currents. I was really in the flow and the energy just so high and beautiful. And then yesterday, my first day back, felt like low tide, like, whoa, I just felt like, like still quiet. And I needed that, although I sometimes resist that. So I had fun learning how to enjoy stillness. Today has shifted and my tide feels just gentle and welcoming and ready to take me along the route. So it does feel welcoming. Yeah, that's it. So happy to be here together. And I will pass, let's see, who's Nalasa? I will pass this. Oh, I have a rose quartz heart. I'll pass over to you, Nalasa.
Pretty. Love rose quartz and hearts. I am in San Ponto, Mexico, on the Pacific coast, a little bit north of Puerto Vallarta, and I'm on the original lands of the Huchol and Cora tribes. And my tide, I feel like I'm mid-tide going out to sea. Like the feeling is just like getting pulled back to ocean and waves. It's kind of this, it's interesting when you think about your tide, depending on where you're placed, but the feeling is almost like I am in the water and getting pulled back to the expansiveness of the ocean. And yeah, kind of, I'm starting a clean eating cleanse, which is going really well, and just feels like there's a sense of re-nourishment. We had our first rain here. We have wet season and dry season, so it hasn't rained here in months. And I think on the 31st, we had our actual first rain, and it's made everything kind of pop. One, like seeing the color change from having gray sky, like cloudy skies, changes the colors entirely, and then also because it's so dry here, there's just like a fine dust on everything. And so we didn't get that much rain, but it was enough rain that also like everything looks more vivid because it's taken that layer of dust off everything, and the humidity's picked up. And so there's just this like moisture and like richness in the air, which I actually really, really love. And I will pass it on to Shanti.
Wrong spot. Hi, I am in Bend, Oregon, just down the street from Judy. Same tribes, same watershed. It's funny, I don't really know very much about tides growing up in Kansas, but I recently went to the ocean last month, um, and it is pretty cool. I relate to them as far as the moon goes and the waters in my body. And so I'd say right now, because we just had the first quarter moon, I guess my tide is slowly rising. And I'm excited because we're I have to leave early today because we're going over to the river. We rented a campsite for the night. Basically, it's a trial run to test out all our camping equipment and stuff that we hope we know how to use and figure it all out before it gets dark. And so I'll be able to hear the river, and that'll be exciting. I'll be right by it. And I just feel really close to the elementals right now. I just recently read something or heard something that just like all of us are experiencing such intense energy right now, the elementals feel the same as us. And so, when you're outside or standing in nature at all, well, they're feeling it too and mirroring it back to us, but yet they're more used to it and can provide some stability to us. So that's why I'm really looking forward to spending the whole night out in nature tonight. Uh, so I have this beautiful piece of tourmaline. You really won't be able to see all of the gorgeous colors in it, but it's got the greens, the pinks. It's just feels really luscious. And I'll pass that to Shelley.
All right. So thank you, everyone. So I just want to say that starting next week, we won't go around and take a half hour for people to, because there's 12 of us, so it takes quite a while, 2 months at least. And also, I just want to invite, letting it go for tonight, because I know Marty just drove in after 21 hours and Jamie's on a ship, but really invite people to show up on the call and be present. So show your face and so that we can feel ourselves as a collective. So there's a lot moving in the schools, and I know how many people felt a little overwhelmed from the last 2 emails. Anyone? Okay, right. It was a lot of information, unlike anything that we've ever done before. And like I said, first of all, that spirit wouldn't give it to us if we couldn't be present with it, and also that you know there is a really strong sense, and I don't know what that is, that there's a relationship between these two schools. I mean, just the one's in the city and one's in the country, so to speak, but more than that, and listening for what that is and why the two schools are showing up. And I also wanted to address, people were thinking that, well, the New York school is closing, that's it. And we're not even doing it anymore. But actually, we have still a pretty big role to play in the support of Kalima. And by the way, it was her again, just parts of the puzzle. She turned 50 yesterday. On the right, was it yesterday? Yeah. And a big birthday, and also she's really, the invitation, as I wrote, was for her to Be open to what, the question I asked all of you was, is this a deconstruction and that's the end of it, or is it, as the universe would have it, it's recalibrating into what it wants? And if you remember, her really the bottom line of her intention was really about her personal freedom, moving into her fullest potential, but to really try and see the school would thrive and continue. And one of the things, if you just take this into account, the mother school just cut off the umbilical cord, is basically what happened, and is that something that, how do we want to support that? So I still want to go ahead and, we're still wanting to, like the school won't close until August 31st. And so what can we do to support the energies? And also, I feel like a couple things happened that she mentioned, and maybe Judy wants to speak into it. So what I want to do is spend probably now 45 minutes, invite us to spend about 45 minutes with this school, and then actually do a switch over to the other school, because they are panting, waiting for us to engage. And also want to hear from each one of you in what you've experienced. There is no, oh, I'm bad because I didn't do anything or I didn't watch the videos. It's just simply where we were bumped up really quickly in this consortium. Usually it takes a few weeks and we get engaged with one particular project. And Nilas is kind of chuckling. This is like, okay, guys, so I'm throwing you into high tide, So, and then each one of you have a gift of what you might be experiencing. And the one thing that I want to acknowledge is, if you remember last week, Jamie, at the very end of like we were just about to close, and Jamie asked, oh, can we start working on the school? And I was kind of caught off guard, and I didn't know what to say. And I said yes. But about 5 minutes later, got a call from Judy, and realized that part of what we're doing, and not to slow the process, is that we're creating a baseline. It's really important that we can show whatever the results are measurably, whether, whatever that looks like. And so after this, I want to bring up the school and land assessment. Judy, I think the one I'm pulling up isn't the one that I added what you had on yours. So let's just make sure we bring that in. And two things after we opened, and one of the things that Kalima didn't speak to was, and I realized as I was listening to her as she was opening, safety. And when the word safety was brought up, that was really, she like her body sort of responded. And one of the things that happened last week was that so they sent in this safety officer who she said was really gentle and kind and communicative, and felt created a really a more of a safe space for the school. And as well as how quickly, we might think, oh my God, the board, like we haven't even started and the board already ended the school, cut the cord. But is that also part of the fact that we energetically came together and we've already started the energy moving? Because I don't know about you, and this is something we want to talk about, that as soon as someone says yes to the dowsing, things start happening very quickly. And the fact that the board completely shook the ground, so to speak, by coming in and closing the school, she thought she had a while and they were going to talk about it and there was going to be a whole, but instead they just cut the cord. And I kind of like that analogy. So the baby is trying to breathe on its own, right? And so we can be support for that. So I want to open it up.
Before you jump into that, Shelley, can you explain, because I don't understand, where exactly are we with the school?
So maybe Judy, I've been jabbering. Judy, you want to answer that question?
Well, Deborah, do you mean what is the status of the school? Like with the board, and is that what you're asking, or where are we in the group in relation to this project?
Okay, so first of all, I'm Deborah, just so we're clear.
Sorry, Deborah, my apologies, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Are we like still going to focus on it? Because Shelley said that school's going till September or end of August or something. And like, I'm not clear what we're what our goals are, what we're trying to accomplish here.
So if I'll just speak to at least what my intuition on that is that we accepted their request to work with the school and with Kalima. And in the beginning, she told us this was a possibility, that, you know, there's a question that the school was having financial troubles and it was up in the air as to how long it was going to continue. And we took on the job. So I still think that we continue doing our dowsing assessment, clearing the space that's there. I mean, just, you know, I believe there's some negative vortexes there, et cetera. So those students are still there. Those energies are still affecting them. They're getting their grades. Their teachers are there. I feel we still have a responsibility to clear the space. And it's also where we know we're essentially, it's not like we're dousing the students, but that energy goes into and permeates through their lives and through their next steps. So I feel like the dowsing is, the goal is to bring the highest and best for everyone involved. And it's still very much in play, if not even more important, because it's a huge transition. So we can help to make that transition positive for everyone and with ease and grace. That's just my understanding or how I feel about it. And I believe Kalima would very much appreciate that. She hasn't said, oh, okay, I'm done. And we also did talk about her personal intentions that she stated. And so to help move those along for her. Would you concur, Shelley? Is that kind of where you're?
Yeah, absolutely. That that they, one of the things that I said in listening to her, and I can send along the transcript, but basically in listening to her, that she, the very next day she found out, she went to a lawyer, and we haven't met with her after that to see what she could do to create a better circumstance. And I invited her, after listening to her, to really pay attention and to listen if this is what her still intention, to listen for the parents and the teachers that are really wanting to take this forward and to create, you know, move forward with the value and principles that they were living by, which weren't being acknowledged and weren't being fulfilled. And that, who knows, that the support of moving them out, we know that they'll, you know, whether they're going to make the decision of finding another space, maybe a smaller space, and looking for funding. And so, you know, I think what Judy's saying is correct, that there's still more and we can really support. And we don't know what magic and miracles can happen by our staying focused and taking care of this building. And we weren't just called to the school, we're called to the building itself, and to acknowledge that we could only benefit the people that are also in that building as well. So I think they're in a transition period, and so we can support that transition. And she is leaning on us heavily.
Yeah, there might be some specific things, Deborah, that in relation to feng shui, because you might ask for some things. Normally, you might say, okay, can you change this entry? Can you do this or that? And she may not have the ability to do that anymore. So there might be some specific things that we have to take look at individually. But I was speaking kind of more to the whole dowsing process of clearing the space to the best that we can, and then trusting that will open it up to the highest and best.
Yeah. Let's open it up to everybody else. How's everyone else feeling? And if you can just stick to the bottom line, so, you know, we can just check in, or just popcorn if somebody has something that they want to add at this point.
Well, when I listened to the initial opening that you and Judy, the three of you did, from that point on, I knew that it was going to close. I just a couple things that she said, the way the board was uh, not including her and all that. I'm just like, oh yeah, it's. And then there was something brought up about that something negative had happened, someone had been hospitalized, or there was a security. So then that element made me think that there were liability issues too, and that they were probably just going to get cut off. And I wasn't surprised at all when then last week when you said, oh, they are calling a meeting. I'm like, oh, yeah, they're going to let her know. So I think all that has been in the works and probably around the time that she reached out to ask for the dowsing. Yes. And I do think it is possible that they could, if we heal whatever created some of the situations could be rectified, they could maybe get picked up by a magnet school that might want to incorporate them into their planning. And the other thing is, I don't think it seems much different than if a couple hires you to douse their house. Then they decide, well, now we've decided that we want to get a divorce and sell the house. But so things change, but we're still dousing the house. So to me, it's just we're moving forward with the dousing of this. That's how I feel about it. Complete.
Marty, you want to pop in?
Yeah, I'm going to offer that the administrator of the school had an intent to be free, and I believe her intentions are absolutely coming to fruition. And so I see our role as simply energizing those intentions and smoothing the way and allowing the universe to answer the questions however she wants to answer it. So once we get the dowsing work done and the clearing work done, and then we just allow the spirit of the school to select what the future will be for them, and that could manifest in a different space. It could manifest as being again associated with a magnet school. It could manifest somebody walking across the street from the Empire State Building, and dropping $2 million into her pocket. However it manifests, that's just part of us helping to energize Kalima's intent. And so I think that the meeting that you had as you opened up the consortium was added enough energy to, well, she got the first part of her intent is coming true. Let's see if we can make that second part come in too. So yeah, I see it all as a positive. I'm complete.
Anybody else have different hints or?
I guess when I watched it all in the beginning, I agree with Shanti. I thought this is doomed from the beginning. When the leader doesn't really want to be there anymore and says so, that they want to be free and be out of it. I mean, I imagine she energetically was carrying the ball, and when she didn't want to be there, then I felt like it too much, too little, too late is kind of what happened for us. And then when I looked at the feng shui, it's like the parent company's been carrying them because what they have going on there in that building is really, 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 really intense. So I like it. None of this is a surprise.
Mhm. Yeah, thank you. Pop in if you haven't said anything, if anything's. Jamie, I know that you worked with the animal spirits, by the way, and also had the AccuVac going. Yeah, anything you want to add?
Yeah, I met with Melissa this past week and we had a great conversation. She helped us some things on the assess some things that I was unfamiliar with as I'm new to this group. And I obviously work a little different. We all obviously work in our own ways. Having been a Montessori teacher and worked in several different schools, I've seen schools be successful, and I've seen schools have these same types of issues and been a part of that process. and it's very troubling to everybody involved. And anyway, one of the things Nalasa and I brought up on our call together is how impressed we were with Kalima, and having experienced many different directors of schools, if every director was as heart-centered and cared as much about their school as she did, um, I think the world would be a better place. And I don't believe that she is just wants to be free and let it go. It seems to me like she's very invested in the teachers there, the community that she's helped create, that she's knit together, that her children were there. Um, and now it might look like finding new placements for those students. She was just speaking with an attorney about the possibility of continuing it as a school. And I think that she's willing to do some hard work and a lot of legwork in the meantime, um, during the ending of the umbilical cord being cut, to kind of figure out what the next step is. And I think if there is the opportunity for the school to continue, maybe with her as a transitional leader, I think she's very open to that idea. I don't. That's how I feel. I feel like she really cares a lot about this program and whatever they've put into it already, and she probably has a whole lot of work that she's invested in, and countless hours and sleepless nights, and um, certainly she's being cut free in some regard, but she also could have she could just walk away right now if she wanted to. And I don't see that from her. I see that she wants to have a healthy resolution to this, whatever that looks like. And I think it makes it a fascinating dowsing project. Complete.
Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of what people have said. I also, like, the school has been around for 7 years from another school that's been around for about was it 100 or something in Massachusetts, which is actually quite far away. Like, it's in mid-state northern Massachusetts to California, and I wasn't surprised at all that they, as she said in the basic thing, that they were going to come up with a review that week and give her a decision like coming up. And I think it makes sense for them to decide not to be in there. It feels like one is like very established and like pristine and like large grassy like woodland like school, and the other is like in the middle of New York City as this kind of, it just doesn't, it feels like an energetic thing, that it was a suck on the resources. And I think that is felt throughout the whole project and the building itself. Me and Jamie talked too as we looked at the front of the building and really noticed from where the door was positioned how like lopsided the building felt. Like, it feels like if you're like looking to go into the, like through the doorway, like the whole building feels like it's like tilted sideways kind of energetically. And how it is, it feels like you're just like entering and automatically you're off kilter. And I agree with everything Jamie said about just her really caring. And as far as us dowsing this place, I definitely, you know, I agree with what Marty said as far as however that next round looks like for embetterment, and really just creating a clear field and a nice closure or next step for whatever that looks like. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know, Deb, if you're listening, one of the things, so sorry, because I've known Deborah for so long that I just tend to go say Deb. So I'll continue to try to say Deborah. But I think that there are feng shui things that could still happen to sort of create a flow for the movement at a higher level. And I just want to acknowledge Deborah because she sent me a bunch of questions and needs. And at that time, that was when the board just cut off, and I didn't feel like I could throw that on Kalima at this point. So, but some of it might still be a possibility, and to have a conversation with her around that. Anybody else? Thank you for everyone. This is really helpful. Yeah.
Oh, mute, unmute. Okay. yes, I wholeheartedly can feel into what everyone is saying, and I'm very much taken by Kalima's intention around freedom, experiencing freedom, and um, and there's still something that kind of speaks, in the left somewhere back there about that abolitionist plaque. And I want to go back and see what that was, but there's a strong message about freedom, and I see Kalima as the navigator of the ship of the school, and both, her intention for freedom and the school's intention for freedom. And now the school's been, cut. The ties have been cut off from the main dock, and so whatever that ship how that ship is going to sail, or in what form the ship sails, there's that thread of freedom, both between she as navigator and the school as the ship. So that's my 2 cents on that. Thanks. I'm complete.
I want to clarify something for everyone. It wasn't just freedom by itself. It was freedom to experience her fullest potential, because she went into this thinking that this was, in a way, her dream possibility of being able to have a school that really radiated what she really believed in. And so just to take that into consideration, it's freedom to experience her fullest potential. And so I'm not going to say any more about that. I just felt like really important to say that. So take that.
And as with that, if you look at the spirit of the school in New York and see how compatible it is with the spirit of the school in Massachusetts, that is one dysfunctional family.
Yeah, right.
And from the way I prefer to do things is that stand behind Mother Nature and give her everything that she needs to be successful. And I think that as we strengthen and support the spirit of the school, I think that that spirit then will drag Kalima, whether she wants to or not, into her intent of freedom to be who she wants to be. And I think that I think the spirit wants that. I think that she wants that. And there's sometimes you just don't want to invite people to the family reunion. Uh, and I think that this is just a great opportunity for that little school to go ahead and express who she really is. And I think we've got an important role in helping her do that.
Cool. I also was feeling like, we didn't do this really with the Bush School, but I have a feeling it might be really nice to invite her to see if she wants to come on for like a half hour with us, so that you guys can ask her directly and have a direct relationship with her. If she can, number one, because she's very busy, but also just I think the invitation would be wonderful. All right. Anyone who has anything else they want to add to this?
I just wanted to say one thing is I think with Kalima as well, like she's the head person there, and I think she's probably felt the brunt of the dysfunctional family, if you want, between this school and that school. And so I feel like it's really pulled at her in weird ways, and needing to hold it, and like having, this board, having this person that wants certain things a certain way, and yet she's like in New York, and it's like, but we're like it's a different vibe here, and like how she wants to go. And I think even the freedom of education they talk about from the New York school feels very different than like almost the preparatory school that is what's talked about in Massachusetts. And so I think for her to feel that dysfunction, knowing it's going to break, and for her to reach out for help for this transition at such a pivotal time is like really important. And not to say, I felt like Deborah, you just mentioned like her not like, her breaking away is saying something about that dysfunction. And I think it's not so much her giving up, but yeah, definitely her like wanting a smooth transition. And I love, Shelley, you just redefining, yeah, freedom for her fullest expression and passion. Thanks.
Great. So what I'd like to do now is to invite us for 10 minutes to kind of go through if you didn't do an assessment, don't flip out. We're just going to go through, and then you might have something that is popping for you, but to get out everything that is popping for us regarding a baseline of the school. And I can give an example. I don't even need to ask who did any, and what Jamie said is true. Everybody might have something else to add, which is really important, by the way, so that it gets added to sort of a collaborative assessment. Judy started it out. So tonight, if there's something that we haven't paid attention to, please bring it forward. But we're just going to kind of go through this. Yep.
Can I ask a quick question? Because when Jamie asked about starting dowsing and then you got followed up with, no, don't anybody start doing anything. And then, so then I just waited and I listened to the North Carolina stuff. And so I'm not sure, are we supposed to start our own methods of doing things, or are we doing this
Okay.
collectively with like the way you taught me with this form and whatnot? And
Right.
when are we doing? You
Okay.
said if you haven't done it, so was I supposed to do it? I'm
So,
not. I wasn't clear about
okay.
any of that.
Right. So here's that's okay, because that's like I said. Okay, can I be really, I'm going to be really transparent. How many years, since 2015, 10 years, we've been having the consortium. It has never moved. It has never had a group of people that were energetically on it. It usually takes 2 to 3 weeks to get it rolling, and then and I'm still sort of dragging people into it. You guys have been like pop, like showing up and energetically really being there and on it. And I want to acknowledge that at the same time, I got caught in a little wave, a little cross current when Jamie asked me, because I realized that we do need a baseline, and I want everyone to have a sense of a baseline. So if so we're just kind of going to go through it in a gentle way. You can have your rods right here and test. You guys are all pretty good. Um, and Marty probably hasn't used this assessment sheet, and he's going to learn something, and he might add something too, because there's no radionics on here. So he's going to share his bit, and maybe not even tonight because he's tired and wanting to draw, is just driven. So just what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of go through this and just consider home means school. And as an example, when I sat and I went through this assessment, like I found the school was incredibly negative. And you can also do this assessment even after the fact by saying, what was the school before anyone? In fact, I had to do that because Jamie had already started with the animal uh, remediation and using the AccuVac the way she does. And I hope you share with what you did, Jamie. But simply kind of going through. So as an example, like I just got this, so I just let spirit, I'm not using the Bovis method. I don't know if anybody here does. But basically the way that I've shared with most of you, like I got like a -19 with like 6 negative vortexes in that building. Um, so I just want to kind of go through and just get a baseline for those who have done it. And there's no pressure for those who haven't, just to listen. And then, there were certain things, as an example, when I sat with the spirit of the school, I just felt this really gummy, sticky, kind of attack energy that was going on with the school. So again, we'll just go around, and you can, rather than going through each particular thing, I think we can just each share. And if we can keep it somewhat to like 10 minutes, that would be really great. So, and what's the biggest aha for you? So as an example, like I got -19, and you guys can write this down. Kalima was like a +8. Um, and
Can I interrupt you, Shelley? Can we get just like a show of hands to see how many people actually have done this? Just because a last time we did the school, we ended up going through and all doing this together to ask the questions and got it collectively. And so
I know, but I'm not doing that tonight specifically.
Okay, that's fine. I haven't gone through and done this yet.
Right, okay.
And so I just want to get an idea of how many people have gotten a pre-read energy for it. Because I don't know.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't clear to me beforehand for us to actually go through it because so much of the stuff is kind of explained new to people. And so, like, part of the talk I had with Jamie was like, I'm not sure if Shelley's really wanting us to do this all beforehand or if we're going to be doing it together.
Okay. Did I send out the assessment sheet? Maybe I think I did.
You sent out the assessment sheet, but you didn't necessarily say, like, people don't necessarily know what to do.
Okay, so great. Let's start.
I think you actually said wait until next week in your first email. Yeah. So.
All right. Okay. So I'll back out. I apologize. Deb, are you still there? Can you come on with us? Okay. So you're on mute.
Twice my dog threw up and got sick in the middle of this. That's why I've exited.
Oh.
I didn't set the group. I just was trying to.
So actually, remember Cleo is part of this energy?
Star. Yes, I know. She's one of our stars. But so I didn't want to bring it into the middle of the group and disturb everybody. So that's why I keep disappearing and coming.
I think it's really.
I can hear you while I'm taking care of her.
Okay. Number one, I think it's really poignant because that's kind of the energy I've got of the school. And so let's do this. Let's just go through, take the 5 minutes, go through the assessment, add on any other questions that we'd like to have everybody look at. And we'll do that, during the week. And when you have your assessment, if you can throw in, maybe email it back, just take a picture of it and I'll throw it in the email and I'll try to keep it going so that we can kind of see what's happening. We can just come back next week and go, okay, this is what I'm feeling. And the reason I was kind of going through it a little bit was just to give people a place to start. So let's take a breath. Let's take an extended pause for a moment. I also promised that there was a break in between the 2 hours to stretch. So all of a sudden that was like, oh, give them that break. Okay. So why don't we do this? Let's take 5-minute break. Let's come back and just go through the assessment sheet and just, if anyone has any questions about it, they can ask questions. If like Jamie or Marty and Judy, I know has some things that aren't on that assessment sheet, and I'll change the name. And I thought I already did actually. I just probably didn't pull up the right one. I had a school assessment sheet which had some of Judy's pieces that weren't on. So I'm going to go look for that while we take a 5-minute break. How's that?
And Shelley also extracted some of mine from a combo sheet that I'd sent. So the formatting was wonky and some things were repeated, whatever. So whatever we come up with, I'm happy to put it together, Shelley, into a nice format that I'll help you with that. I'm volunteering. I know you're super. So.
Well, it might be nice if we were all using the same format page.
We are going to
could be one. Okay, but we haven't received it yet, right? So I'm not supposed.
Well, I sent it.
Know where it's at.
Good. We're going to upgrade.
No, I get it. You were at a dowsing convention. You were representing. I mean, you were awesome. Everything's good.
Everything's good.
I just want to make sure I'm not missing out on something I'm supposed to be doing.
No,
having a little FOMO.
Okay. All right.
Real quick, Shelley, can I say something before you guys break? Because I'm going to have to go to dinner with my family.
Oh, okay.
One of the things that came up when Alasa and I were going over the form was the banker grid or banker cubes, which go up. Those weren't on the assessment, and I don't know a lot about dowsing them. I just know they exist, and I think it's possibly something that should be added.
It's already added on mine. Don't worry, it's so amazing.
Okay.
I learned a lot about the banker grids this weekend at the convention, and it's already on my sheet, and I already
okay.
banker grids. And I will send a sheet out to everybody, but I will explain the banker grids just when we come back. So let's take 5 minutes. Thank you, Jamie. Jamie,
Thank you guys. I'm sorry I can't stay the whole time. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you back next Tuesday.
So much fun.
Have fun.
Thank you.
Have a blast.
Enjoy.
Bon voyage. Okay, I know she's
Okay,
talking about
5
it.
minutes.
Bye-bye.
Come back at 6:15.
I might as well go now too, because I was going to leave at 3:30 anyway. So I'll see you next week, and I'll watch for homework, and I'll do my homework, and I'll see you next week.
Okay, sounds good.
Do we get handed out the information for the other school?
Yes.
we-
So we're switching over to the other school right now, and we can, yes, I did.
I never got anything. If you sent out the whole thing package
I
for
think
the
it just came today, right? It just was sent today.
No, yesterday.
A couple of days ago.
Yesterday. But I'll go, don't worry, we're all getting on track, and here comes Tyson, and we're going for a break. 5 minutes. See you later.
All right, bye-bye.